Dads from the Crypt.
Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to episode 247 of Dads from the Crypt. My name is Jason. Tonight, I'm joined by the Mondo, who was Death.
Hello. It's a pun.
Hello.
I guess it's a pun. It works.
It works. It works.
And you can't see I capitalized the word man to emphasize the word man.
There you go.
But my name is pronounced Mondo, not Mando. People say it that way all the time. It doesn't really bother me that much, but
Right. Well, I mean, because that's not even your full name. So
no, I got called, I grew up in a small town in Virginia, so I got called Amanda a lot growing up because people couldn't pronounce my name. And they'd look at that name and be like, this isn't a real name, obviously. We live in Virginia.
like Armando's not that hard to say.
No, it really isn't, but it's what it is.
That's just funny. All right, Jody's out tonight, and looks like you guys have been having some fun. I really want to watch Necronomicon. It's been on my list for a while, so I have not listened to the episode.
I don't. We both gave it a 5. I don't think you're
Really?
a 5 on that one. I know your taste, Jason. You're not a 5 on that one. I think you're somewhere between a 3.5 to a 4.
I'll take a 4.
That's what I mean. I think you're
3.5.
going to enjoy it. I think you're going to think it's solid. I don't think you're going to gush over it like Jody and I did. I kind of said that on the episode. That'd be nice to have Jason here to have one slightly dissenting opinion. I still think a definite thumbs up for it. I just don't think you rate it as high as we would.
Yeah. I mean, Jeffrey Combs, so that's already ranking high. So.
Jeffrey Combs, Brian Usma.
Brian Usma, yeah.
Lots of goo, some goofy stuff, definitely some Tales from the Crypt vibes. So I think it was solid.
All right. So as we've talked about a couple of times, we have reached our 5-year anniversary. And hold on, my phone's going off.
I thought you had a sound effect queued up there for that.
Oh.
I was like, oh shit, is that me? Am I doing that? Am I ruining the recording?
No, let me just put my phone on because it's not like we've been doing this for 5 years.
I'm let's take a step back here. Fucking Boomer over there keeps his ringer on for his phone.
Yeah, no kidding. Where was I saying? Oh yes, okay. So we hit our 5 years, about to hit our 250th episode. Tales from the Crypt is back, baby. So we're kicking off our top 40 Tales episodes. They're going to be in a somewhat randomized order. I'm going to shift them a little bit here and there just for fun. And if they thematically fit something, or if I just feel like we want to do a specific episode.
Or if we have a guest that wants to come on and do something,
yeah, exactly.
Well,
but given that it is our 5-year anniversary, we're going back to our very first episode to review The Man Who Was Death. The first aired episode, they did the 3 episodes all at one night with All Through the House and Dig That Cat. So we're definitely going to get to those, but our very first episode we ever did 5 years ago was The Man Who Was Death. So we're kind of revisiting that. And again, with Tales Script on Shudder, it's just it all kind of comes together. Let's see. So let's get right into it. Our plot synopsis. Again, this episode stars William Sadler, legendary actor. He plays Niles Talbot. He is a prison executioner, but he finds himself unemployed after the death penalty is abolished. He's unable to cope with the loss of his job that he truly loved. So Talbot becomes obsessed with the idea that some criminals still deserve to die. So he begins taking justice into his own hands and embarks on a vigilante killing spree. He's hanging out the courthouse looking for people who got off on technicalities or just blatantly, guilty that for whatever reason didn't get convicted. So he's meticulously executing murderers and violent offenders while staging their deaths as accidents because he loves electricity. It's nice and clean. As the body count rises, Talbot revels in his self-appointed role as judge, jury, and executioner. However, his growing arrogance and bloodlust begin to cloud his judgment. Talbot sets his eyes on one final target, but is caught in the act. And in true Tales from the Crypt fashion, the hunter becomes the hunted, proving that those who deal in death often meet an ironic end of their own. Mondo,
Yes.
what do you think of this episode?
So if you guys are listening to this right now, and maybe you haven't seen the episode yet, I highly recommend to listen to the live stream we did for this, where we had a lot of great guests. We had Kimberly and Phil from Fangoria, but we had the one, the only John Kassir. And if you want to hear someone who, a celebrity who really loves to talk about the work they've done, but with a fan-like glee, as in you can tell he really put his heart and soul into the Crypt Keeper character and really enjoyed the episodes. But I just want to say that. I just want to say, if you haven't seen that, it's really worth watching. Especially, I'd say if it's your first watch of Tales from the Crypt, watch this episode first. Go and clean. Watch it again with that commentary, and then listen to us, and then give us a like and subscribe down there at the bottom. Smash that like and subscribe button. We can get I don't know, monetized or whatever. But I think this episode, these first 3 episodes, like I often think what it was like in 1989 to turn on HBO on I think it was June 10th, 89. I think it was a Saturday night, and this is what you turn on. This is what you decide to watch, because reality of it is now, you see stuff like this all over the place. Like, even, I wouldn't say broadcast television, but if you're younger and your parents had cable growing up, you might have even seen some Tales from the Crypt on Fox edited, but some of the stuff you see it's hard to put in perspective back in 1989. If you're as older people that were growing up in that era, even though we were young, it's hard to believe, like, the censorship we saw. Like Simpsons were controversial at the time. Like the fact that Bart said the word damn or eat my shorts, parents were up in arms over this stuff. Like, if you would have put Family Guy on TV back in 1989, and I'm by no means a fan of modern Family Guy, but holy shit, like, there'd have been riots in the streets. People would have been picketing at Fox Station. So to see this, and to see that this is kind of like horror, I think, kind of starting to really weasel its way into the American home. And not just video cassette, because video cassette was very big, and there are a lot of horror movies. Everyone's probably heard the stories about movies that really found their footing when it came to home video, that maybe didn't get the love they deserve in the theater, didn't make their money in the theater. But this is kind of horrors, like just getting that slimy tentacle right into your home. And the episode, what is it, 27 years later, still holds up to this day, and still kind of approaches themes of, we're still 27 years later, we're still talking about the death penalty, and we're still debating that kind of thing. And it's really cool when you can see, for better or for worse, topics that were topical back in 1989, sorry. 18, what the fuck? They're still topical today, because us as a society, maybe that's for better or for worse. Maybe we haven't advanced past that point, or maybe it's because we're still willing to have conversations about it. But it's kind of interesting when you see those parallels. And thinking of the episode, though, William Sadler is the driving force behind this episode, and he knocks it out of the park. This is an episode that really rests on his shoulders to carry, and the way he plays the character, even when he's doing these, and this is definitely an example too of the early Tales from the Crypt episodes being a little bit more mean-spirited, I guess, because this is a very, I guess, mean-spirited without as much of the camp.
Yeah, less campy.
Because while there is camp involved in this, it's definitely William Sadler playing this character with like almost a Southern glee, where he's very, very excited to be doing what he's doing, and that's really the only campiness in this episode, aside from the classic tale of the bad guy gets his comeuppance in the very end. Also, for anybody who didn't watch from the beginning, I think it's one of the first things you get shocked by is the Crypt Keeper's voice. And how much more the Crypt Keeper was played as a very still playful, right? But playful in a much more sinister way.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out, what the character is and how to do the puppetry and everything. And because of the first generation of the Crypt Keeper puppet, they couldn't really move it as quickly as they wanted to. So it was a much slower drawl to it, more intentional, more a little more sinister, still playful, like, but the laugh is more more like, than the classic Crypt Keeper laugh. Because again, just of the mechanics of it, and then in season 2, yeah, it gets much quicker, much more personable.
And John Kassir did talk about. I'm just calling him John now. We're on a first name basis.
We're on first name basis.
Basically besties at this point. He does talk about it though in the when we did the live stream about the thought behind the voice and how the voice did evolve. And but that's also a nice little touch too, is like to see that they were still trying to get their footing, like you said, with what exactly this character is going to be or what the show was going to be about. And hey, these first 3 episodes that came out sparked 7 seasons, and at least 6 good ones. Season 7 had his moments. But yeah, this was kind of the start of an era, and it's kind of crazy to think how many, getting waxing nostalgic here, how many directors, actors, special effects people, podcast hosts got their start, or not maybe not their start, but got a jumping off point thanks to Tales from the Crypt. But William Sadler is definitely an established star at this point, so it was really cool to see him being able to just go for it and have a great time with the role.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy from New York, you would think he's from Louisiana, or something, or with the Carolinas with his drawl. I mean, it's acting, it's just really impressive how he does that. And he just has those brilliant blue eyes, especially like when he gets caught and they're shining like a light right into his face. They really pop. This was directed by Walter Hill, who did so many like tough guy movies, Another 48 Hours, The Warriors, Crossroads, Red Heat, Brewster's Millions, which is a favorite of mine.
Wait, he did Crossroads with the Ralph Macchio film?
I think, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's a fun movie if you haven't seen that one.
We've talked about it before. I haven't seen that, and I really should. Extreme Prejudice. He's just known for like this kind of movies, and he just shoots the hell out of it. And also, for a TV show to look this cinematic, was pretty wild back then. And like, there's my favorite shot is when Sadler's on that bridge in Los Angeles, and the camera's kind of tilts over him. He's giving like a monologue, and all the cars are going by and everything.
Yeah,
it just really kind of grabs that moment. Again, it's the old thing where like they were really trying to go for a film look on TV. It just looks so damn good.
When I go and I do work in Indio, California, there's a bridge that goes over the freeway like that. I always walk over at night because I always walk to this little area. Shout out to TKB. It's called the Kids Bakery, and I told you about this place, Jason.
Is that the best sandwich place in the world?
Yeah. I don't know if it's the best sandwich place in the world, but it's fucking awesome. And they
have a big billboard that says like voted best sandwich place in the world.
They're legit #1 on Yelp. And to be fair, they've expanded. Granted, I get out there once every other year or so, and the quality's always been great. But there is a bridge that I always walk over, a pedestrian bridge to go over the freeway. Whenever I go over there at night, I always am reminded of that shot you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It's obviously not as much of an urban area, but it's or a cityscape, but it's still just. I've always loved that aesthetic of just the cars going by in the night while you're walking over them. It's just, I don't know. It's just kind of a thing that always gets me anytime I'm out in different cities.
Right. And he's like kind of walking through. They do like that kind of shot where they show, like the nightlife, the gritty nightlife. And he's talking about the junkies and the sex workers. It's very Rorschach if you're a Watchmen fan too. Man, Sadler would have made a hell of a Rorschach back in the day. Could you imagine?
I think he would have done great on it, especially being in Jackie Earl Haley was
very great.
And much more comic book accurate with the way he looked. Oh, yeah. And this is not like saying he's ugly or anything. He definitely, Jackie Earl Haley definitely has a more gritty look to him. Yeah. But I could see though the pretty boy Rorschach with a young William Sadler. I think that would actually play really well.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and you mentioned too the way with his good looks too, the way he plays this role as he has that Southern drawl you brought up, and it's a great Southern accent. But he also there are 2 kinds of Southern accents.
Yeah,
there are the Rob Zombie Southern accents, and I'm not saying this as a negative. I'm saying very there are a couple different kinds, but if you look at the Rob Zombie movie, the actions are very aggressive, almost very, very gritty, grimy. I hate to use that word again. He has like this eloquent Southern accent, but it's got this hint of just something's up, something's not right.
Yeah. And he's like giving those monologues talking about, the bikers, or like he's kind of compared like to the cowboys of the West, or that's the modern, like, outlaws. He's kind of waxing on about, and he's also talking about the junkies who are trying to get that taste of death, who are just flirting with death. So the script is so good. It's, if I remember correctly, it's very similar to, at least the plot beats, to the comic book. I just love the conceit that they're able to abolish the death penalty and reverse that, like, in the matter of a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah, I mean, yes. It's this is how government should work, guys.
And then I love, there's some great violence in this. The electrocutions are good. You got the guy who's like the stunt guy from the bar scene in Terminator 2 as the biker. I just love that guy's look. And then there's that couple in the jacuzzi who do like their do some great electrify.
He electrocutes him.
Electrocution acting, where there's like wiggling around in the tub. It's pretty funny.
Well, and one of the best thing too about Sadler's character is that in pro wrestling, I'm going to bring us back to pro wrestling as I tend to, but the best heels are the ones who, if wrestlers always say that their best work when they're heels is when they have a grievance and they can convince themselves why they're right. Yeah. And that's William Sadler's character in this, is he has convinced himself that he's doing right. He's at no point in his head is he the bad guy in the situation. The society's the bad guy for not letting him do his job, which is to eliminate in his mind the lowest common denominator. But he's killing people for just basically having a makeout session in a jacuzzi. Well, okay. He kills the guy because he's doing a Dexter with the guy. I apologize. Yeah, he's playing Dexter with this one. But what I mean is he in his own head, it's okay for him to be judge, jury, and executioner, because it's a big topic today is due process. Due process, damn, if you're guilty, you're guilty, and he's gonna take care of you.
Right. It's the Thanos where you're the villain who thinks he's completely in the right, and can have some sort of justification. You can see his justification for that.
It's one of those things where it's my favorite line of The Big Lebowski when he goes, "You're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole."
Right. But what I love is kind of the mirror of the first scene and the last scene, where he's taking another prisoner to be executed. He's like, all of them they're all tough guys until they get sent to the chair, and then they all start whimpering and crying for the governor. And then in the end, he turns out to be the exact same, where, he's crying out for the governor, and they're looking at the red phone and it's not ringing. And he's just like, I was just doing my job. What's a man without his job? There's a little bit of, I don't know if I want to say toxic masculinity in that he's being defied by his job.
I think that's not even toxic masculinity. That's just a condemnation. Yeah. Condemnation of society. And not to get too deep into that. Like I've actually tried nowadays to, when I meet someone for the first time, I never want to ask anybody what they do for a living, unless they start talking about their job. Then I'm like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to know, because I feel like we sometimes define ourselves by how much money we make or what we do for a living. But no, I want to know that you fucking like to collect cactus or cacti. Like that's what I want to know about people, though. Because I'm just saying, like, it has led to, I am a huge introvert, so usually when I'm in this situation, I'm already uncomfortable having to talk to new people. But it leads to better conversation, I think, when you don't put someone's worth and their value as a human being on what they can contribute to capitalist society.
Sure. One of my other things I kind of wish they would keep this up is Roy Brocksmith. He's one of my favorite character actors. He's in Total Recall. He's just one of those that guy characters, just pops up everywhere. He plays the bartender. I would have loved it because he's in a couple episodes in the first season. If they would have just kept like a couple of people just to be like character actors that show up in every episode, I thought that would have been pretty fun.
That could be. I mean, they did it with Chucky recently, where Devin Sawa plays a different character in every season.
Exactly.
And I kind of love it because you're not pulling one over on the audience, right? It's done deliberately so you can have that kind of aha moment and that fun moment.
Even he just pops up for like a hot dog guy on the street kind of thing. I don't know. I thought it been fun.
It's also Bruce Campbell being in every Sam Raimi Marvel movie, just about.
Yes,
they're kind of the same deal,
for sure. But yeah, it's one of the best first episodes of any TV shows I can think of. It, like, for setting the tone and the expectations of what the show is really about. It's just, it's about death, that, and it has a cruel irony to it, and the way the cinematic of how it's shot and everything, like, you really couldn't ask for a better start.
I mean, the show too is also in essence about justice as well, because there are a lot of people who get what's coming to them.
Yes, exactly. All right, Mondo, what do you rate this episode?
I don't remember what I rated it the first time, but I think this is an episode that every time I watch it, I actually enjoy it more. Every single time. And like you said, it's when we put it in the historical context of, imagine if this new show comes out on Fox called Tales from the Crypt, or not Fox, sorry, HBO, called Tales from the Crypt. It was on Fox at one point too. Yes. Called Tales from the Crypt. It'd be very, very easy to have a bad episode and shit the bed. And then who knows what happens to who knows if we're sitting here talking about right now, we're doing a Friends podcast. I don't know. But
oh God. I hate Friends too.
Yeah,
I hate that joke so much.
Yeah, me too. I like a lot of the actors in it, actresses in it, but the show itself, yeah, not my thing. Anyhow, yeah, they put their best foot forward on this and really hit a home run, which it's again, like, and especially in 2025 now, it's one of my biggest pet peeves, or when someone tells me to watch a show and I'll like actually listen to them. And I'll watch a few episodes and I'll be like, and they'll pull that, well, it gets good after the second season. No. I'm like, well, in 2026, there's so much good TV. I need you to give me something good. It doesn't have to be a home run out of the gate, but I need something I can sink my teeth into out of the gate. I'm looking at you, Widow's Bay. Fuck yeah.
I was about to say that.
Yeah. Dude, Widow's Bay, dude. Just throwing it out there.
Like 7 episodes in.
Like 7 seasons. What connections do you have in Los Angeles, Jason?
Good God.
But this is a home run out of the park, and I think I gave it last time. Again, it's our first episode. I think we're trying to be restrained. I think at this point, people know my taste on this show. I fucking have no problem giving shit a 5 when I feel it's a 5. This episode's a 5. There's if someone wanted to argue with me and say it wasn't a 5, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Ever. But for me, like, I watched this episode again and I was excited to watch it again, and that means a lot.
Yeah, well, okay. First of all, the first time I did watch Tales from the Crypt was on Fox, so you're right on the point there. Because I did not have HBO in 1989.
My grandfather was like big into technology. I grew up with him, so he got HBO because he's wanted HBO. He liked watching boxing too. But I'll never forget, we had a remote that was like the size of a fucking like softcover novel, and it had 2 buttons on it: power and channel.
You didn't go up or down. It's just
whatever went to like channels, because even on cable there was only like 15-20 channels. God damn it.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly what you said. Not only is there so much new TV to watch now, but there's so much old TV we can just go fall back to, that we already know is good. So to have an episode this strong right off the bat, and I was really going to say Widow's Bay is one of the few shows in recent memory that has really just grabbed me from that first episode. For what this episode, the fact this episode is still so watchable and so holds up so well, it looks so good, it's so well acted and directed. Yeah, it's easily a 5. We might have been trying to temper ourselves that first episode we did. Maybe I'll go back and check what our ratings were when we do these episodes going forward. But yeah, it's easily a 5. It's, top 10 Crypt episode easily. And you can't fault it. It's marvelous.
And one of the interesting things was, I remember bringing this up on the first episode. This came out the same year that Ted Bundy was executed.
Right.
In 1989. And good old
people
Ted.
were like, "Yo, they should televise these things."
I think everybody talks a big game about wanting to see this stuff televised, but I have no interest in watching another human being actually die. Right. Granted, we grew up in that early 2000s internet era where it was like fucking rotten.com and ogreish and stuff we should not have been watching. But I think like I won't get on a big rant about the death penalty. My thought on the death penalty has always been that who am I to decide that someone else will lose their life, no matter how horrific their crime is? That's what we can lock them away from society for the rest of their existence. But to actually take someone else's life, I don't know how I feel about that as a society. I think the minute if we actually televise something like that, we've crossed a line we can never come back on.
I mean, I've always said that if there's enough evidence, if it's so if it's so obvious and like recorded or whatever that someone did something completely terrible, I'm not opposed, but I'd like to have that discussion.
Yeah, I understand that. I also know we have a super corrupt justice system.
That's also true.
And that's the thing, is like you can have someone who is dead to rights. You think is dead to rights, but they might not really be. And the fact that we have executed innocent people in the past, that is what changed my. But if you'd have asked 18-year-old me, I'd been like, oh yeah, we should be killing these motherfuckers left and right. At 42, right. I'm like, this is a big moral dilemma. Or 43. Fuck. Shave a year of my age.
Let's do a shout out.
Hello, I'm William Sadler from Tales from the Crypt, Demon Knight, and you are listening to Dads from the Crypt.
The man.
I also think it was brilliant too, using him as the star of Demon Knight. Like, granted, I mean, he's a great actor. He's a good person to use, but it's kind of cool because the dichotomy of characters, obviously, the playing the villain in the first ever Tales from the Crypt episode, and then playing the hero in the first movie is pretty fucking badass. Right. That's a legacy that always live on.
Definitely. And also I love that he plays literal death in Bill and Ted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he play him in the newest one too, right? Didn't he?
Yeah. I think he came back for that one too.
Yeah.
All right, Mondo, give us your song of the day.
So I have nothing introspective here or anything like that, but just a shout out an artist because they're coming out with a new record this year, based out of Washington. And there are times there's a lot of, and I brought this up when I talked about Castle Rat, and this happens to also to this band. The band's name is Holder, Hulder. The front woman, and she's the main brain behind the band. She goes by Holder. She's also played in other bands too. She does vocals in this new band I really like called One of Nine that I think I've talked about before, which is just Tolkien inspired symphonic black metal. In her first EP she came out with got a lot of hype in the underground. But immediately it always turns into like, well, she's only getting hype because it's a woman in a male-dominated field. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I see stuff like that and I see magazines going heavy on it, a lot of times it's because the music doesn't hold up to what they're trying to push. But this is not that case. This is a case where the music is the music should and the content should always shine through. It should be irrelevant as to who makes it. And in this case, like, yeah, her music is fucking awesome. She makes great black metal. I guess you can call it, she's from Belgium, but she's based in Northwest. So people like to call her Cascadian style, but it's more like traditional style black metal. And the new record she has coming out is called, and I'm going to butcher this name, is Verbolgen. It comes out next month or August 7th. On $20 spin. You can pre-order the record now, but the video that's come out for it and the first song on that album that's come out is called In Blood and in Earth. And just the other day it popped to my YouTube algorithm as, oh, Holder's got a new record out. The song is fucking killer, and I'm super stoked for this new record. So check out Holder. And it's also cool to support artists that are a minority in their field, where is even though she's a white woman, it's still a very male 99% male-dominated field in black metal. So it's always cool to hear different voices and people who are really fucking good at their craft, and this is good. And it's her and her husband that do it. And Yeah, just check them out. It's good stuff.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to check that out. Also, Castle Rat's going on tour, so check them out.
Yeah, they're not coming to Vegas, sadly.
Mm.
So and based on where they're hitting, I don't think I'm going to be able to make any of their shows. They did open for Death Clock and for I forgot who else opened that. Oh, Amon Amarth on their last tour, and I do know a couple of people who they do a thing here in Vegas called like it's a fill a seat thing where you can you pay like $100 a year for a membership, and they'll have stuff on there because they just need to fill seats like at comedy shows or concerts. And I have some friends that actually went to that show who are not metalheads at all, and their favorite band was Castle. All of them love Castle Rat. Nice. So check them out. Check out Castle Rat. Castle Rat's fucking awesome.
Awesome. All right. Well, Jody's not here for horror news, but I pulled out some of the hot takes that were sent to us.
Real quick. So a new movie just came out this past week. It's called Evil Dead Burn.
Yes.
So
what's your
the other night I got pretty high after I watched a movie. And then the more I talked about it, the less I liked it. And then I started recording a little mini review. And then about 8 minutes in, I realized I wasn't wearing a shirt. So I scrapped that. So I was very high.
That's going on our highest Patreon level.
But it's going to be an interesting one because I'm very careful when I don't like a movie, because I've seen a lot of discourse from people who really, really did also enjoy this movie. So I think it's one of those your mileage may vary situations. I thought it was the weakest entry for an Evil Dead movie. I don't think it should have been an Evil Dead movie. I think they could have definitely gone a different direction with it and had it been even more entertaining. It definitely has for quick spoiler. So if you don't want a spoiler, fast forward 10 seconds. It's nothing that's going to ruin the movie. But for any of our friends out there that are sensitive to animal violence, there is animal violence. And I think it's cheap animal violence in that it does not necessary, doesn't really advance the story or do anything like that. And but overall, I'm very negative on it. I think I gave it a 2 out of 5. And I also thought it was boring. There's blood flying at the screen. There's limbs being mangled. And I somehow was fighting to stay awake.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely does not sound up my alley. I'll definitely watch it when it comes to digital. Just
yes,
as a completist, as a horror fan.
Definitely.
You know. No, but like I didn't like Lee Cronin's The Mummy that came out this year because I thought it was too like Evil Dead wannabe and all the things. Like I like my Evil Dead campier than not. Like I think like Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2 are my favorites. I like the 2013 one enough. Rise was okay, but this sounds like it's going way too hard to trying to be like hardcore horror.
The 2013 one was super mean spirited, but it still felt like an Evil Dead movie.
Yeah.
And this one doesn't. And also I think I really, really enjoyed the characters a lot more in that 2013 Evil Dead. This one does
really kills that movie.
Yeah, there's something they're trying. I won't give any spoilers here, but there's something they're trying to do with like the main character in the new one that I actually really I think they had a really, really good idea for it, but it just fell flat. But again, a lot of people are also praising this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at you for liking it if you did, but
yeah, it's gonna make for fun discourse, and I do think so I'm just gonna tell everybody like one of my biggest other pet peeves in the horror community is I might not agree with your opinion. I might even call someone's opinion dumb, but I would never call you dumb for having an opinion that I don't agree with, because, and realistically, I probably wouldn't call someone's opinion dumb unless it was just like, this is better than Evil Dead. Then I'm like, okay.
Unless it's like obvious someone's trying to be controversial.
Yeah.
Or edgy.
All I'm saying is if you're arguing with your fellow horror nerds on social media or something, have some tact and be respectful. Everyone likes different things in movies. And that's like, I loved a movie called Crabs with an exclamation point. I love that movie. A lot of people probably tell me I'm fucking crazy for liking it. So it's okay. Like, it's okay to like something. It's okay not to like other things. But at the end of the day, like, I'm always a big fan when someone still tries to do something. And the credit I will give it did try to do something different. And did try to do like a little bit different things with the Deadites and the summoning and whatnot, which that I'm always I'll at least give people credit when they try to put their own spin on things.
Yeah. All right. Well, we just talked about how much we respect people's opinions. Let's shit on some hot takes then. No, these are all just in fun. Again, we have people send in their Tales from the Crypt hot take. If you have a hot take, you can send one into us at dadsfromthecrypt@gmail.com.
Or just in general, if you have a hot take for
or horror hot takes. I went to Reddit and I posted like on the horror forum and then the Tales from the Crypt one. What's your horror hot takes and stuff? So I'm kind of culling from that list. But we always appreciate new ones. All right, first one is every other Tales from the Crypt episode is about romantic relationships and it kind of lowers the overall quality of the show. How many times do we have to see the moral of the story be don't use supernatural means to solve your romance problems before it gets stale? Because I was so annoyed by it by the third season. I mean, I wouldn't say it's every episode. I mean, in the first like 3, it's not really any of them. It's definitely a trope that definitely runs thin as the show goes.
You could say all through the house there is definitely a romantic. It's not someone using magical ways in a romantic state, but someone killing their husband for their lover or whatever. So you could definitely say that, but yeah, I never really felt like over the course of watching every episode, we were watching it week after week, that I felt that it was ever an overdone trope. But I think it's one of those things too, where if that's a trope that you just don't like in movies or like in TV shows, you're gonna pick up on it and it's gonna irk you way more. It's gonna irk me.
Yeah. And I mean, it's definitely done better in some episodes than others for sure. But also, we got to think that these are all based on the original comics, and there were only especially back then. You go back another 50 years from when these shows were being made. There's only so many stories they really had to tell. And they were just trying to put out comics, to keep up with things at some point. So there's only, I don't know. I think that's a bit of a hyperbolic take. But if that's something that really like my least favorite episode is the Love to Death, which is basically a love pushing episode. It's from one of my least favorite seventh season episodes. But also you could really compare that to the movie Obsession. It's very, very similar. But that Obsession is done really, really well. It takes it to another level and kind of plays on that trope in different ways.
Yeah, there's somebody said there too, is like you can have the two people have the same idea for a movie or a TV show or a book, doesn't matter. But sometimes the success lies obviously in the execution of taking that idea and executing it really well.
Right. All right. The next one is someone said season 4 is one of the most disappointing seasons of the show, and season 5 is better.
Again, this is really hard for me to say anything on, being that it's been so long since I've watched those seasons.
Well, okay,
I have to look through the episode list to.
So I did a quick scan. I picked out like the top of the episodes. Okay, so season 4, we have On a Dead Man's Chest, Beauty Rest, What's Cooking, The New Arrival, and Split Personality.
Okay.
Those are all very, very good episodes. Season 5, Death of Some Salesman, classic episode. Forever Ambergris, very good.
Okay.
House of Horrors. Oil's Will That Ends Well.
Man, you know what? I'm gonna say this might not be a hot take.
You can say one season's better, but I would not say season 4 is disappointing whatsoever. I mean,
no, I wouldn't call it I would not call it disappointing. Yeah. But I would say though, again, let's look at this with a modern lens. If if you're starting to watch Tales from the Crypt again, everyone's just telling you season 4 is the best season. And then you just go in just amped up for like the best episode, the best season of TV ever. I could see why it could be a little bit disappointing. Look at this. I'm even trying to like defend people's hot takes I don't agree with, because I don't like being mean to people, except for people like Glenn.
We're just discussing.
I just like to focus my anger at people like Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, who deserve all of our hatred and anger. But season 5 is killer though, and I wouldn't say someone is insane for thinking it's better than season 4. But I would say that season 4 is in no way disappointing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would say season 7 is the only one I would call disappointing. Every other season I say is at least strong, if not very, very good. Between those two lists, I kind of go with season 4 because I think, first of all, The New Arrival is a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Split Personality is another favorite Beauty Rest is really solid. What's Cooking. Death of Some Salesman is probably like top 3 Crypt episodes, so it has that. Yeah, the other ones are good, but I think on the average, I would go season 4.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you, but I could also, I wouldn't tell anybody they're crazy thinking season 5 was better.
Yeah, I mean, better, fine, but 4 is definitely not disappointing.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it disappointing.
All right, the last one is Tales from the Crypt should not be remade or rebooted. I'm sorry, you're not going to improve upon it, and you're not going to be able to do it as well as it's done before. Tales from the Crypt caught lightning in the bottle, and we need to preserve it as it is. And this one, I 100% endorse.
Yeah, dude, this is not a hot take. This is just logic. I
think the kids would say this is based.
Did I don't know what that means. Did you give this person? Is this hold on a second? I don't know. I hear everybody using the term maxing. Is this maxing? Is that one thing?
Maybe truth maxing.
I don't know what the fuck that even means. But did you give this person an upvote on Reddit? Because
I give everyone an upvote just to be nice.
As I would too. Like we appreciate the the interaction.
Totally. No, I am 100% that this is of its time. You can try, but you're not going to catch the vibe and the novelty of it. You know, like unless they were going to go really hard, make an all practical, Crypt Keeper puppet. But even that, you have to keep it with the Tales from the Crypt. It has to be based on the EC comics, but they've already done all of them, so you're just going to be retreading the same ground. I say leave this alone. The thing I always say is I want a behind the scenes show a la Mad Men, but set in the EC comics universe, kind of like Corman's Calamity. Give us that story and about the comic book ban and having to go in front of Congress that the Gaines has had to do. That's the story I want to see. And you can interject like scenes from different comic books, and then you can have like your kind of Tales from the Crypt bits. But I don't think a straight remake would work.
If they do that though, I want the Crypt Keeper just as a character. Like he just he just hangs around the office and no one makes any mention of the fact that that he's fucking old mummy or whatever.
Or that's the other thing I would want. I could. What I wish they would have done for a movie in the 90s is like Crypt Keeper goes to Hollywood. Kind of like the character of the Crypt Keeper is the main character of a movie. And like he goes on like a road trip or something like that. Kind of like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back kind of thing.
I don't remember who told me about this. I think you've seen it too. When it was like a comedian, someone famous, I was talking about their pitch for the Crypt Keeper reboot was like the Crypt Keeper just trying to get jobs in Hollywood, but he's typecast.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that would work as like a short, like a very like short format, internet kind of TV show. I think that would work really, really well. But as far as like we can't rebooting IPs, the reason why it almost never ever freaking works is just that there's so much nostalgia for the original that's always going to be compared to the original, and what's going to happen is you're going to get people like us that are fanboys who aren't going to quite be able to be restrained enough to do it in a way that like makes sense, in a way that would appeal to like new people new to the show plus the original people. That's such a hard, like, shout out to the new seasons of King of the Hill, because I think they nailed that, but that's such a hard thing to do. Like, you'd have to bring back Al and Gil and John and you'd have to give them free reign, and I think they could potentially do it, but I think they'd be fighting a huge uphill battle. Whereas if they want to do something like, let's say with the new the Oni Press comics, I think they could do something like that, but just don't call it Tales from the Crypt. Call it, whatever it is, Cruel Universe or whatever, or Oni Comics Presents. They have new kind of Crypt Keeper characters. Use those characters. And maybe you can have John Kassir and the Crypt Keeper make a cameo somewhere, but then it turns into like a cool, like, look, he's back. Not like it's not resting on his shoulders, which I think like I would actually like more of Tales from the Crypt if it's just a Crypt Keeper being like a horror host and introducing old schlocky movies, something like that.
Yeah, with the Oni stuff, I do think there's definitely some material there. I would definitely say that just keep it like an animated like recreation of those comics. Kind of like, again, not that we're talking about Watchmen all night, but kind of how the Watchmen did like their like motion comic versions, which I thought were pretty good. But yeah, trying to do another live action, version of Tales from the Crypt, I don't want it. All right.
Sorry.
So again, if
I'm
you
over
have
spilling
more,
my beer everywhere. It's a Guinness. It's
Um,
got the little nitro packet in it, and I don't know what happened, but it's splooging all over me. Fucked up my white shirt.
see, white shirts are gonna get you.
Dude, I ate a steak and didn't get fucking shit on my shirt. I opened a Guinness, and this shirt is gonna be fucked after this.
There you go. Again, if you have hot takes you want to send us, you can send them to dadsfromthecrypt@gmail.com. We did actually get, this might have been the very first, a fan letter to our Gmail account, and I want to do a shout out to Max. And it just, the letter he sent really touched me. It's hard to put on a show week in, week out, and we all of us have like stuff going on that pops up and that we're kind of struggling through. And
People don't realize how hard it is for 3 fucking 40-plus-year-old men to figure out a time. Like, we're recording this on Sunday right now. It's 9:24 Pacific time. So as soon as this is done, I have to do a quick edit on it. Jason's gonna post it, and then we both have to work in the morning. Like, that's just the reality
with
of doing
families and everything else. It's a lot. And getting this letter really brightened, I think, all of our days.
Hell yeah.
So I want to read a little bit of it. Hey dads, I wanted to thank you so much for your show. I'm not normally a podcast guy, but something about how you do it just works for me. I had a really crummy start to my summer and was kept busy by things that aren't any fun after a lot of manual labor BS. I was at a friend's place and they had a random episode Tales from the Crypt on TV. It was a mediocre episode, but I wanted it more. So I He says, I started rewatching the show on my own and love seeing how much I remember and how much I forgot. I found you guys while I was looking for trivia facts. I'm about to end the second season of the show and your podcast after I binge you all to catch up with myself, and it's so much fun. Most podcasts I've tried are too smart or too dumb for whatever stupid niche I'm into, but the three of you are a great level of all the things. So we're just the right amount of smart and dumb.
That made me smile so much. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I had a big fucking grin reading that part. That's like, because I actually take that as actually a big compliment. Because I always joke whenever we have Rachel on, I'm like, finally someone's smart on the show. Like,
someone who knows words are more than 2 syllables.
Yeah.
Those $3 words.
Movie bloody, me like movie. That's kind of how I review movies.
He goes on to say, most importantly than entertainment, though, your dad advice has occasionally motivated me to wash dishes, exercise a bit, and not to be as scared about taking risks while job hunting, because in the end, that's not all as important as my actual life. Like, gosh, knowing that this show helps us, and by helping us, helping you, it just really ties it all together. My gratitude for that is immense.
I know Jason's probably felt this way too. There have been definitely days, and I'm gonna say today's I've had a long weekend and a long week. I'm like, fuck, it's 8 o'clock. I finished dinner. I need to go record. But you want to know what? This reminds me. I equate this to going to the gym. I go to the gym at 5 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I fucking crawl my ass out of bed. And the whole time I'm like, I sound like fucking Yosemite Sam walking up my stairs, like freaking well, without the inherent racism. But I'm definitely muttering under my breath, angry words as I pack my gym bag and go to the gym. And I just had the best time, and I feel so rejuvenated and so good afterwards, because it's just it's good to be able to talk to your friends about bullshit so like, this is very cathartic, I think, for us too.
Yeah, I mean,
I missed you, Jason. I missed you. It's been 3 weeks.
I know it was tough being gone for a couple of weeks, and I've been really working on myself on a lot of different levels. And I was almost scared to come back to this, because the stuff I'm working on, to help myself, was really important. But this is also really important, and it's also part of being a part of a friend group and letting my creative side express itself. And that's important too. Family, other commitments and stuff are definitely important, and those need to be taken care of first. But the fact that I was able to find the the time to come on, and we're helping other people cope with whatever they have going on. Just really, again, this makes me really, really happy on a very deep level.
Same, because I think like at times I've been going through rough stuff, and some of the podcasts I listen to is just kind of like that warm hug that's always there on Monday. When the episode drops, and I'm driving home from work or had a rough day at work, but I know I have that podcast to listen to, and at least that time period I get to just enjoy myself and not think about some of the external forces. So to know that like at least someone gets that from us, it really does mean a lot, and it makes me like we always said we do this if nobody listened because we have fun.
Right.
And that's I think with anything that's also important is if you're having fun. It's the whole thing. If you love what you do for work, you'll never work a day in your life. That's kind of bullshit. But if what you're doing is fun and other people happen to enjoy it too, that's just like the icing on the cake. And this email meant a lot. So as a guy also gets pretty down on himself a lot and does not have the best self-esteem. That meant a lot and put a big. I had to read it to my wife because and of course like this. When is this coming on Friday?
Yeah.
I read this, and then like 30 minutes later, Joe Bob on Joe's Last Drive-In is reading a letter about from a woman whose dad died in her last memories. I'm watching the show. I'm like, just getting all the feels in tonight, man.
Yeah, for sure.
But thank you so much for sending that in, because that really did mean a lot. And something I've kind of practiced in my own life is I practice gratitude.
Yes.
And that because I'm not always very good at it. And I do remember, because I worked many years I worked for Apple in retail as a technician with them, and a lead technician. Thank you. But one thing that I always enjoyed is when there'd be a customer that wanted to speak to a manager. So I go out to talk to them, just ready to get my head chewed off for something beyond my control. And what they want to do is they want to tell me how good of a job someone did, and what someone did made their day. And that was all. And then that always made me feel good. And then when I got to pass that on to the person that like did that, I know that let them leave. No matter how many people yelled at them that day, they got to leave on a positive note, knowing, 20 people yelled at me today, and that was rough, but I made this person's like week. And that always means a lot. And I'll never forget is a story that my old boss of mine told the story. I used to work as a gentleman by the name of JR. JR has his own business now called Only My 2 Cents, where he does anime artwork and stuff. And it's a passion project of his. He turned into a business. The guy's one of the hardest workers I've ever met, one of the best guys I've ever met. But one of our managers had gone to Best Buy, and he gotten just the best help from a young man. And he gave the person's card. He goes, dude, if you're ever looking for change, like we're hiring, we're hiring, like come talk to me. And the guy was like, man, he goes, it's funny. He goes, I went to an Apple store, and this guy named JR helped me, and he helped me so well and like made my day. And I walked in there so upset at the world and walked out like thinking, man, that was the best interaction I've ever had. It made me want to be better in my job. And that always blew me away, that like a little small act of kindness throughout the day changed this person's life. And that person telling that to the manager, who then went to relay that information to the employee, made that person's week. So gratitude can be a big deal. And it's if you see someone at a store, if you go any kind of customer service job, a waiter or waitress, don't be afraid to leave a review or talk to the manager and to say, hey, like fucking, whatever, like Rebecca made my night. Because you'd be surprised like how much that means to those people, and how much like that means to anybody to hear that like something that they did made someone else's day.
Love it.
That's my dad advice. My rant. My dad advice: be a little kinder, spread gratitude, spread love.
Yeah, we definitely need more of that now. One quick note: I was at the mall today, and I was waiting for my family there in the Lego store, and next Lego store was the Apple store. I was like, okay. And then I turn around, and right behind that is the Mac cosmetic store. It's like the stupidest dad, like, oh, ha ha ha.
It's funny, even here in Vegas, like the Apple store I go to by my house now, and not the one I worked at, but there's literally a Lego store about 30 feet away from it.
Nice.
I love the Lego store. I'm just gonna say it.
Oh yeah, no, my wife is very into Legos, and it's really fun to watch her build them and how enthusiastic she gets. And she even got me the Lego Sega Genesis.
Sitting behind you there, I see that on your shelf back there.
Yeah. And I built Legos, and like, gosh, I don't know, forever. And I just sat down. It was really fun. I had a really, really good time playing that together.
So that's the first we've done in a long. That's cool. My wife years ago bought me the Voltron set for, I can't remember, it was my Christmas or my birthday, and I just had so much fun putting it together. And that I just like to take an edible, put some music on, and zone out and just have fun building it. It's very cathartic for me.
Yeah.
So I know I have that one. I have like the Ecto one up here. I have Optimus Prime. I have dude, Jason, as a Jaws fan, you need the Jaws one, right?
I know. I saw it on sale. I was like, oh, you need to get it.
Dude, I spent $300. I got the X Mansion. That was one of the ones that was most fun. But I want all the Lord of the Rings ones. I just did the math, and it's like $1,500.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, where the fuck am I going to display these at?
Yeah, the one I went today had like the whole Gondor set like on display,
dude,
built out. I was like, that's so fucking cool.
They're so good and they're so expensive, and like man, I want them so bad though.
All right. Again, and that's also, we talk about gratitude. That's why I always end the episode saying, we appreciate everyone for listening, because we do. It means a lot to me that people would even take time to make it all the way to the end of our episode.
Yeah.
That they so as always, we appreciate everyone for listening. But we'd also appreciate if you leave us a rating review in iTunes.
Fucking businessman on the dime just flips that coin.
A like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads From The Crypt Talk on TikTok. And with that, we thank you for listening to Dads From The Crypt.
Adios.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.